drop dead! I don't do requests.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's episode of The Island of Rob. And this week is going to be a pretty special one for me. This one is the review and the result of the Dorney Lake Half Marathon. Hopefully you can see my number in the background there. I'm going to go through a lot of different factors, whether it be the things I've made mistakes upon, things that went well, and various other things. So bear with me, we'll get there, and at the end there'll be a little video of me looking nervous the night before, a little snippet of me on the run, and some photos and bits and pieces as well. So without any further ado, let's get on this. Firstly, I will say that I didn't actually decide I was going to do this half marathon until about mid-December. So training has really been a whistle-stop tour of suddenly getting in fit for running. As a lot of you know, generally I'm yoga or swimming. They're my two kind of fallback good things. Running has never been one of those things. I've done a few 5Ks, but I've never really pushed myself past that. This time, getting to the half marathon, getting the 21k has been a slog. Thankfully, due to the Norwegian method that is on the channel a few weeks back, if you go and look up the Norwegian method, you can see how I've been training. That method has been fantastic. Just the lots of little runs has been easier on my joints. It's got me up to speed. It's made me a lot quicker, and it really has helped slowly up my endurance from December. And I say slowly, from 5k to 21 in 3 months, I think I've progressed pretty quickly. And a lot of people have said they were surprised how quickly I've gone through that, and I wouldn't necessarily suggest doing that quickly yourself. So that's one of the things that I'm going to say that I could have done better, is I could have given myself more time to train. And I don't think it necessarily would have been a lot longer I would have needed to train, just an extra few weeks. I had unfortunate bout of sickness like a couple of weeks beforehand, which stepped me back a little bit as well, but I think ultimately just having that extra 3 or 4 weeks would have been good. But in the actual race itself, there's a few other tips I've got for you. Firstly, as you'll see in the videos later on, the night before a race you get some serious worry on. You can see that the colour's gone from my face a bit. I'm pretty nervy, and that's because the night before an event, your body's just telling you you're going to do something diabolical tomorrow. Let's try and just stop you from doing it. You get this horrible feeling of foreboding. You start thinking about so many things that you should have done, and yeah, it's just not good. And you've got to prepare yourself for that worry the night before, and don't let yourself get cold feet, especially if you've done, like I have, and done a lot of training running up to it. You don't want to put all that training to nothing because you hit that nervous wave the night before. So push on through that, guys. Not arriving at your event too early. If your run is at 9:30, like mine was, 9 o'clock, sorry, mine was, you don't want to be getting there at 7 o'clock when the site opens unless you've got specific things you need to be doing. I'm not saying turn up 5 minutes beforehand. Give yourself a decent amount of time to register, but don't plan to be there incredibly early, because again, you sit there and you worry, you have more time to think about everything you could do wrong, rather than I turned up with about 45 minutes or so. I didn't think there'd be a long queue for registration, which there wasn't. Popped in, registered, went and done the safety briefing, and then went and done the run. And it all followed in pretty much in straight order, and I didn't have too much time to worry about things, which I think is a really good tip. Because if you're just sitting around as well, you seize up and you just start to panic more. So yeah, try and think about that, guys. I've got some tips in terms of, I don't know if you saw the couple of weeks ago beforehand, I'd done the top 5 worst things you will learn if you are taking on long distance running. And to stop my number 1 issue, poo bum, I had 2 suggestions. Firstly, a friend of mine, Ollie, the one who helped me with the Norwegian method, says that you can take some caffeine tablets a few hours beforehand and it helps relieve the situation. Or, on the other side of things, you can take a couple of Imodium a few hours before as well, and that stalls the situation until you have it at a manageable time. So yeah, that's a good thing. Also, with the toenails, because I've got to admit guys, sadly, after the half marathon, I have got 2 black toenails. They are quite painful, but I found out you can fix it by tying your shoes a certain way. Now, if you go on some of the running tips websites, they've got diagrams of showing you how to do shoelaces. I would sit here and do it for you. If you guys want me to, I will do, but to be honest, I think you guys can just go and look up a diagram of a person who knows what they're doing better than I do, rather than seeing me fumble around with a shoelace for 15 minutes. But yeah, so you can tighten your shoes like that, and that'll stop getting that kind of painful toenails afterwards. It's something I wish I had learned beforehand, but it's something I'm definitely going to do for any further big runs I do. Breakfast. Firstly, you've got to have breakfast. Just like any training session, you've got to make sure that you take on enough food for your body to do whatever you're going to do. However, if you're doing something big or something that involves a lot of movement, like a run or a big swim or something like that, you've got to have something that your stomach will handle well for that activity. For instance, for the run, I had a couple of peanut power bars and a banana, because I knew all that kind of stuff would sit quite nicely, and then I could have some proper big food later on. And that done me fine. But the thing is, I'm not saying have that. I'm saying while you're training, you will have certain good days when you've had certain good bits of food. Remember what you had, and maybe make that your race day meal. So have a think, have a look into it, and listen to your body, guys. Starting off slow, it's a really simple one, and a lot of people say it on the running websites, and generally just with a lot of tips in terms of that kind of thing. You really should start off slow, because people will tell you about it quite regularly and you'll go, yep. What do? We started off a bit quick, and that's not necessarily a terrible thing. We didn't start off massively too quick, but just a little bit too quick, and I think if we had have held back a little bit, we might have had more towards the end. So yeah, start off slow, guys. The course itself, have a think about how the course is going to be. The course, the Dorney Lake, it's a lovely course, beautifully flat and hard road course, which is good for me because I do a lot of road running myself rather than people who run on grass and things like that. So in terms of the conditions, brilliant. In terms of the fact that the laps, it's 4 laps. And laps can be a bit demoralising, especially if you've got a long distance like a half marathon or a marathon to run, because you do all that long distance, come back, and then you know you've got to do that 3 more times. It can be a bit disheartening. On the back of that, disheartening things, if something messes up in the race, you've got to have the mental capacity to get over it, because sometimes little things can cause a big downer during the run. One of the things I did, I spazzed up my run keeper and I managed to turn it off while I was recording the video for you guys, and that hit me hard during the race. I was really down over the fact, because it may just be a little photo or something like that, but I didn't know whether I was going to be able to correct my run keeper to retrack it or to be able to do it myself so it actually could be displayed, and not have and knowing I'm not going to have that little picture, because as you've seen, Ash has been doing some fantastic photoshops of me while I'm running, and I'll have a little montage of them at some point, I'm sure. And yeah, it's little things like that can get really on you, because you've got not a lot to think about while you're running other than the fact, oh god, my lungs are trying to escape, my legs are dead. And then if you add little things on like that, it just makes it that much more depressing. And you want to be in a good place mentally while you're running. You want to be feeling good about yourself and focus on the fact of the achievement of how far you're going. So yeah, try and not do things like that. But it happens, and so if you do things like that, try and prepare yourself mentally to just push on through it. Because there will be a lot of temptation in your body to just kind of slink off back to the car. Bum jellies. You'll see about butt jellies in the video. Vicky had some Haribo in her back pocket, and Jackie also had some Fratella sweets. Now me, I've been very much a man about my kind of training, and I went, I don't need any food, I don't need any drink, and generally I've been okay because I've been listening to my body, and up to about 16-17 kilometres I've not really needed anything to push me that little bit further, so I didn't take anything with me. And I've got to say, during the course of the race, having those little sweets, because they were shared out while we were running, and likewise I had one of the gel packs from the hydration stations supplied by the Eaton course, which are really, really good, by the way, because I don't really like the gel packs, I don't like the taste of them, but it actually became a necessity, because I felt completely drained of energy, I had nothing left, and just having those little bursts of sugar and energy really can help push you that extra mile, and sometimes literally that extra mile. Running with friends. It's a difficult one. I didn't train with anyone. I've done some park runs where I had people I knew with me, and that's fantastic. But I hadn't actually ran at someone's pace before, and that was something that really flummoxed me during the half marathon, because the different pacings can be really difficult, because sometimes you're starting to flag when someone else wants to pick up the pace, or you're wanting to pick up the pace when someone's flagging, so you end up having to hold off. So it can change up the dynamic to what you're used to if you haven't practiced. So that's something I would have liked to have done beforehand, knowing now. I've actually just practiced going with them. If anything else, the actual talking during the run takes a lot out of you as well. It's something I'm completely not used to. Other than recording the odd video for you guys, I don't talk during my runs. There's no point. I look like a crazy person if I'm just babbling on to myself. But it's something that I should have practiced for and should have got used to, because that really took it out of me during the marathon, half marathon. Ooh. So yeah, and driving is something to bear in mind as well. I had to drive back from the event because I went down on my lonesome, and it was about a 2 hour 45 minute drive back. 2 hour 45 minute drive back after a half marathon, I have got to tell you, is sad times. I kind of crawled out of my car at a petrol station on the way home to go and get some snacks and bits and pieces on the way back. Yeah, it was difficult. So if you can get away from doing that, or plan a course that's a bit closer, I would suggest it. But it's doable, it's just hard. Running etiquette. I went into this and I was like, I really want to run with music, because music helps to keep me going, helps keep my pace. It's been a big part of my running. And I was pleased to know that you can do it. However, there is a certain etiquette involved. A lot of runners don't like people having both earphones in, mainly because if you are a top level athlete and you are looking to get your best lap time, and there's some lad like me waddling around not aiming to get a particularly high time, and I'm in the way because I can't hear him asking me to move, it's going to be sad times for him. So try and keep an earphone out, guys, or if not, really keep your head in a swivel so you don't get in the way of people. That's the ruling on music as far as I can see it. So yeah. Additional things I have learned is, after your race, take some time to actually go around and talk to some of the people who are there. There was a guy that I met called Lee. Hopefully I'll now show you a picture of Lee. Indeed. He was a lovely guy, and he genuinely helped us get around our run. he was shouting many good slogans and generally just being motivational every time we were going around on a lap, and it really helped get us around. So yeah, there's some really good people at these races, and likewise the amount of knowledge you can absorb from people. Lee has got a YouTube channel, and I'm gonna link it in the comments below. But likewise, he's done quite a lot of running as well, and it's how he's managed to get his weight loss journey. And he's just another person now, because I went and had a chat to him afterwards, that I can potentially look for information from. And the best way to learn how to do these things, if you're not experienced, is find someone who is experienced and ask them. So have a chat to the people out there, guys. They're a resource to be used. If someone come and ask me questions, I'd be happy to answer, so I don't see why they wouldn't be either. Obviously I'm not saying just randomly go and accost people and say, "Oi, what trainers should I buy?" Bear within mind, but yeah, have a chat to some people, and likewise have a chat to the people in a similar place as you. I had a chat to a few of the runners that were further back before we got started, and it was really nice to know that there was a lot of people in a similar boat to me, thinking, am I going to get round? I'm not going to be necessarily particularly quick. And some people having the same worry as me. There was a 3-hour cut-off time on the half marathon, and I was seriously worried that I wasn't going to make it within the 3 hours, and there was going to be like one man with a gazebo packing down, going, "Oh no, sorry Rob, everyone's gone home, you don't get anything." But yeah, so spreading those worries between other people and knowing that other people have the same worries as you helps, really does. So talk to the people around you. How do I feel? Was a question I was asked quite a lot. The day after the race, I was very impressed. The fact that I was achy, but I wasn't absolutely crawling around. I was expecting not to be able to bend my legs. But I got up, went shopping, done some gardening. It was a good day, and I think that's got to be credit down to the actual training schedule again, because it got me used to having a quicker repair time, got me used to doing the distances more. It just shows, guys, that if you prepare for this kind of stuff, it really can benefit you in the long run. The next thing I've got to say, guys, really before we jump into the montage, that on the 18th of March 2017 I completed the Eaton Dorney Lake half marathon, and I completed it in a time of 2 hours and 55 minutes. Not cutting it close to the 3-hour mark at all. It's a fantastic day, guys. If you get a chance to do the Dorney Lake half marathon and you live close by, it's a really good day to do it. Really lovely flat course, bearing in mind the things I said before, and it's cracking to have another medal to add to my background and keep in there, and it's definitely an achievement I'll hold high. And this leads me on to another question I've been asked just before I go into the montage, is what's next? A lot of people have been asking if I'm going to do a marathon now I've completed the half. I wouldn't rule it off the cards, but I'm going to have to sit and think about it, because it's going to be a big jump. But one thing I will tell you guys is, for better or for worse, and for some stupid reason, I have signed up to do the Longhorn Half Marathon in Nottinghamshire, and I hope it goes well, guys, and I'll probably do a little review of that site as well. I have seen so many videos and pictures and updates of you guys doing your own runs, and that is fantastic. Whether it's because you've been inspired by me to run, or whether it's just because you've made a conscious decision to do something and get fitter, either way, I'm so pleased for you guys. If you guys are not having a good time, you're struggling at something, you're finding it hard, and I can help, please just ask. Contact me through Facebook, send it in a message in the comments below. And if you guys want to keep up with this channel, see what's going on, stay with me, and we can try and get fit together learn together, or just generally you like listening to me talk about shit, smash down on the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel, and likewise dig us out on Facebook so you don't miss anything. I'm now going to turn you guys over to the montage video of the run itself. Thanks so much for coming. Take care of yourselves, stay strong, and be your own island. Evening guys, just in my room, getting ready to go to bed before the big run. I just thought I'd record a little vlog that might remind you guys that for me, most definitely one of the hardest bits of these kind of events is actually the waiting to start it rather than the actual event itself. I'm sure 10 minutes into the run I'll find my stride. I've been training for it, it's fine. But the times like this where I'm just sat here in a hotel room waiting to get going, yeah, it's probably the most worst bit, because you start second guessing yourself. You start thinking, have I trained these kind of things enough? Have I packed the right things? Have I eaten the right things? What kind of unforeseen things can happen? It's just a little part of the run that I wanted to share with you guys while I'm sat here stewing in it. But one thing I can say, and one thing that has helped me, is having all you guys on Facebook sending messages of support and saying such lovely things. And it's one of the things that helps me through these kind of bits. And to be fair, you guys are one of the reasons why I'm doing this kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, there's a big part of it that's doing it for myself because I knew I needed to, but you guys certainly are a big element of helping me get through all this kind of stuff. So let's see how it goes, guys. Will Pooh Bum strike, or will I do the half marathon? Take care, guys. Be your own island. Hello guys, welcome to the Island of Rob. We are on the half marathon.
Hi!
Oh, we just crossed the 10k, and I like to think it's going okay. Traffic is far too cheerful, but it's a good thing. I mean, Vicky, I think, probably in similar levels of wanting to die, but feeling hopeful we won't. Yeah, really. Top tip for today, guys. Vicky's, take some bomb gummies with you, because you never know when you might need a little bit. You never know when you need extra energy. Yeah, I'll check in with you when I'm a little bit closer to the finish line. Take care. Oh, hi guys. Finished, and it was hard, but I can tell you, finished. There's the medal. I think my time was around 2 hours 55, which I'm more than happy with, because I was expecting over 3. Yeah, it's been a phenomenal experience. I feel like my legs are absolutely dying, but it was great, and big thanks to the other 2 runners with me, just because they kept me going, and it was so nice to go around together. And likewise, got a photo of a guy at the finish line with a mohawk, and he was just phenomenal. I think he's got a YouTube channel. I had a chat to him earlier. I'm going to link his channel in the section below, just because he was phenomenal, really. Like, he was getting us around when we were getting around there. He was we were like, we'll get to that guy and he'll cheer us on. And in fairness, there's a lot of people doing that, and it's been a great event. If you guys want to do a good half marathon, the Eaton half is a good one. Take care, guys. Song of the session, gotta be Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. Take care, guys. Be your own island.